students, today we are going to see the new and very interesting section of physical chemistry, and that section is the molecular spectroscopy. So, what is the definition of molecular spectroscopy? So, molecular spectroscopy may be defined as the study of the interaction of electromagnetic waves and the matter. And throughout this section, we are going to see the structure of matter, then various types of spectroscopies like rotational spectroscopy, vibrational spectroscopy, microwave spectroscopy, and the NMR spectroscopy, and ESR and the Mossbauer spectroscopy. So that is the points which are included in this section, molecular spectroscopy. So simply, the molecular spectroscopy is related to the electromagnetic radiations. So that electromagnetic radiations are present in different regions like gamma radiations, X-ray region, UV region, visible region, microwave region, IR region, NMR region. So there are 7 regions. So we will see the spectroscopy in detail for that all 7 regions. So we will start with our syllabus of that first chapter. Chapter heading is recapitulation. Here 3 points are included: Fourier transforms, second point is regions of spectrum, third point is factors affecting width and intensity of the spectral lines. So in today's lecture we are going to see the second point, that is the regions of the spectrum. So here I have written the definition of the molecular spectroscopy again, and I have told earlier the definition of that is molecular spectroscopy is defined as the study of interaction of electromagnetic waves with matter. So here is the another definition. Molecular spectroscopy is a subject of quantum physics, or you can say that it is a subject of a quantum chemistry, and excitation of the molecular movement or the vibration as used with the IR spectroscopy, or the excitation of the electron or in a higher pi orbital as used for ultraviolet or visible spectroscopy is possible in a normal surrounding. So simply molecular spectroscopy is defined as a interaction of electromagnetic radiations with matter. So simply here we have taken, this is a subject of a quantum physics, and here we can study various types of excitation of a molecular movement. So simply in the IR spectroscopy we can study the vibrational motion. In the electronic spectroscopy or in the ultraviolet and visible spectroscopy we can see the excitation of the outermost shell electron. So that all things are included in the molecular spectroscopy. Now the point which we are going to see in detail is regions of the spectrum. So as I have told, there are 7 regions of the spectrum are there. First one is a gamma radiation, next is X-ray radiation, third one is a ultraviolet radiation, fourth one is a visible light, fifth one is a infrared radiation, sixth is a microwave radiation, and seventh one is a radio waves. So these all are the radiations, and these radiations are included in the electromagnetic radiations, and its study can be done in the molecular spectroscopy section. So this classification goes in the increasing order of wavelength, which is a characteristic of the type of radiation. So here I have taken one diagram, and in this diagram we will see the examples of the spectral radiations. So see, what are the properties of the electromagnetic spectrum? So electromagnetic spectrum in which the wave-like nature of radiation is present, and that waves have the certain wavelength, certain frequency, and certain energy. So see, here are the some waves of electromagnetic radiations. So at the left side here is the wavelength given, which is 100 meter, and when we go to the right side the wavelength is going to be shorter. So here wavelength of higher radiation, that are the radio waves, and wavelength is 100 meters. Then there is a microwaves, its wavelength is 10 centimeter. Then the IR radiations, wavelength is 1 millimeter. Then visible region is there and wavelength is 0.01 millimeter. After that ultraviolet radiations are there and its wavelength is around 100 nanometer. Then for X-rays it is 1 nanometer, and for the gamma rays it is a 0.01 nanometer. So for the radio waves example is the FM. Then for the microwaves example is the phone, our cell phone. Then for the infrared radiations, our remote of TV is the example of that. After that, for the visible light, the example is a bulb. And ultraviolet radiation example is a printer. Then for the XRD, as we know, the use of the X-ray is used for the checking bone fracture. So simply here example is taken bone, and last one is a gamma radiations. So all these are the examples of the radiations which are emitted from that device. So this is the diagram which shows the change in the wavelength according to the different types of radiations. For the radio waves, the wavelength is much higher as compared to gamma radiations and the X-rays. Now we will see the diagram of electromagnetic spectrum, and here various regions are shown, and in each region the molecule has a different type of orientation. So see, here I have taken one diagram, and in this diagram here are the 7 regions of the electromagnetic spectrum. First region is the NMR, second one is the ESR, third one is microwave region, fourth one is infrared region, fifth one is a visible and ultraviolet region, sixth is the X-ray region, and seventh one is the gamma ray. So as we know, in the NMR, what happens actually in the NMR spectroscopy? So initially the spin is in the upward direction, and when electromagnetic radiations or the radio frequency light is used for the transition of a molecule in the presence of the magnetic field, the spin get oriented. So simply see in this diagram, here the spin is in the upward direction, and here at the excited state spin get oriented. So that will happen in the NMR region. Same way in the electrostatic resonance or electron spin resonance, the spin get oriented. Then there is a third region, it is a microwave region. And for the microwave region, it is a essentiality the molecule should possess a permanent dipole moment. For example, HCl. Here H contains permanent positive charge, Cl contains permanent negative charge. So simply here HCl is a molecule which has a permanent dipole moment, and that molecule will get oriented in the microwave region. So in the microwave region, what happens? Change of orientation of a molecule will be observed. Then in the next region, that is infrared region, see in this infrared region you can say that infrared region is also known as a vibrational spectroscopy region. So here the configuration of the molecule will be changed. So we have to apply the symmetric stretching, asymmetric stretching and bending mode of the vibration. Then and then only molecule will show a transition. So simply here configuration of the molecule will be changed. So when we apply the symmetric stretch, the frequency will be not changed much more, or the configuration will be not changed, But when we apply the asymmetric stretch or the bending mode of vibration, at that time the configuration or the shape of the molecule will be changed. So that will happen in the infrared region. After that, fifth region is the visible and the ultraviolet region. So in visible and ultraviolet region, what happens actually? So here we can take a molecular orbital diagram. So in the molecular orbital diagram, as we know, there are 4 shells, K, L, M, N shells. So N is the outermost shell. So in the ultraviolet region and in the visible region, the outermost electron participates in the transition or excitation. So simply here, change of electron distribution will occur. The expulsion of the valence electron can be takes place in the visible and the ultraviolet region. Then next region is the X-ray. So in the X-ray region, here also the change of electron distribution will occur, but not as same the visible and ultraviolet region, but here the innermost shell electron can be expelled out. So as I have told, any molecular orbital contains 4 shells, K, L, M, N shells. So here the electron from K shell will be expelled out in the X-ray region. So simply in the visible ultraviolet region and the X-ray region, change of electron distribution will be takes place. Then our last region is the gamma radiation region or the gamma ray region. Here change of nuclear configuration can be takes place. So in this region we can study the Mossberg spectroscopy. So students, see what we have learnt here. So there are 7 regions of electromagnetic spectrum are present: NMR, ESR, microwave, infrared, visible and UV, X-ray and gamma radiation. So in each region there is a specific type of molecular orientation can takes place. In NMR and in ESR, change of spin occurs. In microwave region, change of orientation of molecule occurs. Then in infrared region, change of configuration occurs. Then in visible, UV and X-ray region, the expulsion of electron can be takes place, that is the change of electron distribution will occur. And in the gamma ray region, change of nuclear spin will occur. So see, according to the wavelength, according to the frequency and according to the energy, that all regions will be placed in this chart. So here see, 10 raised to minus 2, that is the wave number of a NMR. Then here when we go on the right side, the wave number will be going to increase, that is the 10 raised to 8 in the region of X-ray and the gamma ray. Then wavelength is given. For the NMR, the wavelength is given here 10 meter to 100 centimeter. When we go from left to right, the wavelength is going to change and it will be 10 nanometer to 100 picometer for the XRD. Then frequency is given here. As we know, there is an inverse relationship between the wavelength and the frequency. When the wavelength will be decreased, frequency will be increased. By that way, see, here is the relation. Here 3 into 10 raised to 6, that is the frequency, and frequency, what is the unit of frequency? It is a hertz. So here frequency is 3 into 10 raised to 6 for the NMR region. 3 into 10 raised to 6 to 3 into 10 raised to 8 hertz. And when we go on the right side, it will be increasing 3 into 10 raised to 16 to 3 into 10 raised to 18 hertz. So from left to right, the frequency is going to increase, and from left to right, the wavelength is going to decrease. Same way, energy is directly proportional to the frequency. So obviously from left to right, the energy will goes on increasing. For the NMR region, energy is less. It is 10 raised to minus 3 to 10 raised to minus 1 joules per mole. And when we go on the right side, the value of energy will be higher. So value of energy for the X-ray and gamma ray is much more higher as compared to NMR, ESR, microwave, IR regions. So energy of the X region is in between 10 raised to 7 to 10 raised to 9, and we cannot calculate the energy of gamma ray exactly because that radiations are of higher energy, higher frequency and less wavelength. So see, in this chart everything is given. So what happens actually in the NMR, ESR, microwave, IR region, UV visible region, X-ray region and the gamma region, then the wavelength, wave number, frequency and energy of that specific regions are given in this chart. So we will see in detail what happens actually in all that regions here. So first region is the radio frequency region. So here we can take a nucleus, or when we study the ESR spectroscopy we can take a electron. So consider the nucleus and electron. These are the tiny charged particles, and that follows their spin is associated with a tiny magnetic dipole, and the reversal of this dipole consequent upon the spin reversal can interact with the magnetic field of the electromagnetic radiations at an appropriate frequency, and consequently all that spins will get reversed, and due to that there is a absorption or emission type of spectrum will be observed. So this actually happens in the radio frequency region when we take a nucleus or electron, and that are the tiny charged particles, and it follows that their spin that is associated with a magnetic dipole, and that spin will get reverted when their interaction will occur with the electromagnetic radiations of certain frequency, and consequently all spin get inverted and we can get a spectrum of absorption or either of a emission. Then we will see the microwave region. So microwave region is also called as a rotational region, or we can say the rotational spectroscopy can be studied in the microwave region. So for that region there is a one requirement. So requirement is molecule should contain a permanent dipole moment. For example, we can take HCl molecule. So here hydrogen contains permanent positive charge, chlorine contains permanent negative charge. So molecule has a permanent net dipole moment, and that molecule is a microwave active. So simply molecule should contain a permanent dipole moment. So we will see the orientations of the molecules in the microwave region. So in the microwave region we can observe a plot. So here we have taken a HCl molecule. So H contains the positive charge and chlorine contains a negative charge. When we rotate that molecule in the 90-degree angle, we can observe the molecule at an horizontal. So see here that a minus charge will be here and the positive charge will be here. Same way you can rotate the molecule at an 90 degree each time. So when we rotate the molecule at an 90 degree, the molecule will get oriented. So simply dipole will be changed. So always the electricity will be passed from positive end to the negative end. So we will give the direction of a dipole from positive to the negative charge. So direction of dipole for first diagram, because positive charge is here and negative charge at the downward side. Same way I have shown the arrow direction. So dipole direction is to the downward direction. Then here when we rotate that molecule to the right side or the 90 degree, it will show such a type of the orientation of a dipole. Then when we rotate again that molecule to the 90 degree, the spin will get oriented at the upward direction. That's why dipole direction is also at the upward direction. Same way we can rotate the molecule at a 90 degree and the dipole direction will be changed. So now we are going to plot a graph. So here is the plot of vertical component of dipole. So we can consider this dipoles and the time. So here is the downward direction of the dipole. Then here is the horizontal direction of the dipole. After that, here is the upward direction of the dipole. Then there is a horizontal direction. Then here is the downward direction. So that wave will be shown at the downward. Then here is the horizontal again. So we will get a structure of a wave, or we can see when we rotate the diatomic molecule like HCl, which contains a permanent dipole moment, which shows the fluctuations in the dipole moment which are measured in the particular direction. So we will get this type of the diagram for that rotations when we rotate the molecule in the 90 degree. So simply in the microwave region we can study the molecular diagram or a molecule which has a permanent dipole moment that will be active in the microwave region. And the molecules like H2 or Cl2, it has a zero dipole moment. So that molecules does not active in the microwave region. And if we consider the rotation of the HCl, here we can notice only a pure rotation can be takes place in the HCl, and the center of gravity of the molecule must not move. So we see that the plus and minus charges changes place periodically here. Plus and minus charges changes periodically, and the component dipole moment is given in a direction, and that fluctuates regularly. And this fluctuation is plotted in the lower half of this figure, and it is seen to be exactly similar in form to the fluctuating electric field of the radiation. So simply here we have taken a HCl molecule, and that will be rotated at a 90 degree. Each time the dipole direction will be changed, and due to change in that dipole direction we can observe a fluctuations in the dipole moment, and that's why we got a plot like this for the HCl. And the molecules like H2, Cl2 or the diatomic molecules or homonuclear diatomic molecules that are microwave inactive. So we will see the infrared region. So in the infrared region vibrations are occurs, and here that vibrations are useful for the dipole change. So we will take one example, carbon dioxide, that is a CO2. So here the molecule will undergo three types of the vibrations or three types of the motions. First one is a symmetric stretching, next one is a asymmetric stretching, and third one is a bending. So all these three types of modes we can apply to the molecule, and molecule will undergo vibration and we will get a spectrum. So in the infrared region, a vibration rather than a rotation will occur, and that vibration which must give rise to a dipole change. So we will consider the example CO2. So CO2 has a permanent charges on the carbon and oxygen. So see here. Here is the oxygen which contains minus charge. Carbon contains positive charge. So that oxygen will contain partially negative charge. This oxygen will contain partial negative charge, and that carbon contains plus 2 delta or 2 delta plus charge. So in the carbon dioxide molecule, the three atoms are arranged linearly with a small net positive charge on the carbon, not permanent but small net positive charge on the carbon and the small negative charge on the oxygens. And during the mode of vibration known as a symmetric stretch, the molecule is alternatively stretched and compressed. So both carbon oxygen bonds changing simultaneously. So see this diagram. Here this structure is normal. Here CO2 molecule is taken. Here on the carbon 2 delta plus charge is there, and on the oxygen delta minus charge is there. And when we stretch the molecule, okay, just keep carbon constant and just pull these two oxygens with equal force. One oxygen to the right side and that oxygen can be pulled to the left side with equal force. So simply stretching will observe, and that linear shape cannot be changed, and that can be stretched. Same way we can compress that molecule. So when we compress, this is the original. When we compress this with equal force from right and left, so just compress this from this side and just this oxygen from this side. So what happens? Bond length will be becoming shorter. So this is the compression, and that will be the stretching or the expansion. So plainly the dipole moment remains 0 when we either compress a molecule or when we stretch the molecule, and this particular vibration is thus infrared inactive. Okay, when there is a change in the shape of the molecule or change in the dipole, then and then only molecule will become active. So here when we stretch molecule or when we compress the molecule, nothing will be changed, only bond length will be either increased or decreased, and the dipole moment will be 0, or that cannot be changed. So this molecule is the infrared inactive, or this motion is infrared inactive. So symmetric stretching or symmetric compression, that will be infrared inactive. Then there is another stretching vibration which is called as a antisymmetrical stretching. In antisymmetrical stretching, we can expand one bond and we can compress another bond. So simply length of the one bond will be shorter and length of the another bond will become longer. So that will be asymmetric. We can apply the unequal forces on that molecule. So see how that can be applied in the next diagram. So this is the diagram, asymmetric stretching vibration. So here I have taken the normal molecule here, which is a CO2, and on the carbon there is a partial positive charge, 2 delta plus, on the oxygens delta minus charges are present. Then when there is a normal molecule, the dipole moment will be 0 because 2 delta minus plus 2 delta plus, it will be equal to 0. So dipole moment is 0. Then now we will compress this bond. So when we compress this bond, the length will becoming shorter and one will be expanded. So what happens actually, the dipole moment direction is to the downward direction. Now we will take the molecule as it is here. Then the dipole moment is equal to 0. Then we will compress the downward bond, carbon oxide or carbon monoxide, and the upper one will be expanded or stretched. So one will be compressed and one bond will be expanded. So simply one is, here is a compression and here is a expansion. So obviously the dipole moment direction will be at the upward direction. Then we will take the normal molecule. In the third side, what happens? We will compress the upper carbon monoxide bond and expand the downward CO bond. So dipole moment direction is to the downward direction. Same way we can take each time the normal molecule, and second time we can apply the one bond is compressed and one bond is expanded. So this is the type of asymmetric stretching. We can apply the unequal forces on the two bonds. So see, we got a dipole moment like this. Here is the dipole moment 0, here is the direction of the dipole moment toward the downward direction, because here is the elongation of the bond. Then here is a normal molecule, dipole moment is 0, here is the expansion of one bond, therefore dipole moment direction is at the upward direction. Then same way this will be repeated here. So here see, here dipole moment direction is dipole moment is 0, that's why it is at the 0 point. Then the dipole moment direction is here at the downward, then the dipole moment is 0, then the dipole moment is in the positive direction or in the upward direction. So we have taken here, then dipole moment is 0, then dipole moment is at the downward direction, and here is dipole moment 0, and here is the dipole moment at the upward direction. So by that way, according to change in the dipole with respect to time, so we will draw a plot. So see, here is the 0, here is at the downward direction, here is the upward direction, then here is a 0, then we can go to the downward direction and then to the upward direction. So by this way we can get a spectrum of a asymmetric stretching vibrations for the carbon dioxide molecule, and which shows the fluctuations in the dipole moment. So that actually happens in the infrared region. So we have seen here the symmetric stretching. In this diagram we have seen the asymmetric stretching, and third type of mode of motion is the bending mode of motion. So again we can say that the antisymmetric mode of motion is the infrared active mode of vibration. Then we will see the further vibration that is allowed to the molecules in the IR region, and that is known as the bending mode of vibration. So in the IR region the infrared vibrations or the infrared bending mode is active to the vibrational spectroscopy or the IR region. So in the real molecules, the displacement of atoms during vibrations is seldom more than about 10% of the bond length. So although the dipole change requirements do impose some limitations on the application of the infrared spectroscopy. So we will see how the fluctuations will be observed in the dipole when we apply the bending mode of vibration. So again we are taking the example carbon dioxide. So that example is the CO2. So for the CO2 we have taken here the normal molecule, then the dipole moment is equal to 0. As we know, on the two oxygens delta minus charge is present, and on the carbon 2 delta plus charge is present. So net dipole moment is 0 for this linear molecule. And when we bend that molecule in the upward direction, means carbon kept constant, and when we pulled two oxygens at the upward direction, so obviously negative charges are at the upward direction, and we know the electricity moves from positive to negative end. So here is the positive end and here are the negative ends. So dipole moment direction will be at the upward direction. Then again we take the normal molecule, then dipole moment is 0. Then we take the carbon dioxide molecule, and this two oxygens can be pulled to the downward direction. Means obviously the carbon is the positive at the here, and two oxygens are at the downward direction. So simply dipole will be at the downward direction, because negatively charged particle at the downward direction and positive at the upward direction. So at that way we can get a dipole change when we bend molecule in the upward direction or in the downward direction. So see the fluctuations in the dipole on the plot. So see here, dipole moment for the normal molecule is 0, then we bend molecule at the upward direction, then the dipole changes for at the upward direction, then we take the normal molecule, then we take the bending at the downward direction, and then the normal molecule. So by this way we can get a wave-like nature for that bending modes of vibration. So this is the mode of vibration of a molecule which is observed in the IR spectroscopy. So what are the three types? Symmetric stretching, asymmetric stretching, and bending mode of vibration. So this is all about the IR spectroscopy. Then the fourth region is the UV visible region. In the UV visible region, the valence shell electron will be involved in the transition. And the last spectroscopy is the Raman spectroscopy, and in the Raman spectroscopy, the molecule which has a electrical polarizability, that molecule will be Raman active. So students, what we have seen in the today's lecture, there are 7 types of the regions present in the electromagnetic spectrum, and in each region there is a specificity for the molecular orientations, and so that we can get a different type of spectra in each region.